Hello, welcome to my video where I'm going to be covering the LPL and LCK from this morning. The LPL, we're in day 4 of week 1. The first series was between LGD and Fun Plus Phoenix. Here I will note all the key moments from the series. If you can tell, the quality of the camera isn't the best, but coloration here, I note the key moments and then break it down for you so you don't have to watch the game for 40 minutes. Give you kind of a 5-minute breakdown of what happened. So, Game 1, LGD tried to dive. Actually outplayed a dive by Fun Plus Phoenix. Eric got a triple kill. Fun Plus would then respond by taking a Chemtech Drake. By 10 minutes, LGD was up 5-3 despite being down the Drake. LGD would answer by taking a Cloud. The first significant team fight of the game came at 16 minutes, a 3-3 fight in mid where Jalu had a double kill, who will later become the MVP of this series in my opinion. LGD would then take the Mountain Soul, not the Mountain Soul, but take a Mountain Drake. And then at 20 minutes, at an 8-6 score, LGD was up. Shadow was 3-1-2. He was clearly making things happen as the jungler for LGD. And Jalu was 3-0-1 and making a difference. FPX was up 1k gold at this moment, which kind of gave you an idea of how they were outplaying LGD in lane and lane management and wave management, although they were down in kills. LGD was up 9-7 at 30 minutes after Fun Plus and them both exchanged Drakes with nothing else really happening. If you can kind of see here, there's 3 brown lines and 1 black line. That indicates that there really wasn't much happening outside of just jostling for position for these Drakes. LGD, like I said, was up 9-7 at 30 minutes. Eric was 4-1-1, but Fun Plus was still up in gold. At 31 minutes, LGD would take the Baron, but it was a negative Baron power play. And in the end, FPX would ace them at 35 minutes. In bot and end, LWX hit a triple kill in that fight. The final score was 13-10. Second game, very different. As you can tell, it was 30-17. We had the same jungle matchup, Xin Zhao and Lee Sin. The teams traded kills early on. That was skirmish heavy, like I said, 30-17. FPX took the first Drake. The teams traded kills again, and at 10 minutes, LGD was up, just like in the first game, 4-3. Shadow was 2-0-1. He was making things happen in the early game. That's a good sign for them going forward, despite now being 0-2 on the season. FPX would the issue though, Shadow was emphasizing this pressure in lane, but he continued to forget to take the Drakes. FPX would take the Mountain. And then Jalu would be up 20 CS in top, despite FPX deciding, hey, we're going to focus on objectives. The jungler is not going to try and influence the top lane. He was dominating the Jace matchup against, I can't even read my own handwriting. Gwen. It was against Gwen. Next, FPX would win a team fight 4-2. Gory would have a double kill for the first Rift Herald, and that's kind of where things snowballed. They took the Rift Herald and they were able to get, gold and item advantage, and it just, like I said, snowballed from there. FPX was up 8-6 by 16 minutes. Baojuan was 2-0-5. Bejuan was 2-5. Clearly taking over in the mid game in this jungle matchup. FPX, a real nail in the coffin, was an ace at 17 minutes. Gory with a triple kill. They would then take that and go to Soul Point before 20 minutes. Jalu got a double kill in the next fight. FPX would be up 15-7, and Jalu was 6-1-5, and the team had an 8k gold lead at 20 minutes. They took that lead. They'd ace them once again. Jalu with multiple kills in a fight to take the Baron. Then they were up 10k after the power play, and it was just over. They exposed the Nexus, and LGD said, oh, well, we're going to keep you from getting the Soul. So they went out of their way to stop the Infernal Soul as their base was falling apart. FPX ends. Jaolu was the last man standing in a brawl at the Nexus. He had a triple kill, and I believe he had like 12 kills in this game, so it was pretty crazy. So FPX beats LGD. Obviously, those teams will not be 9th and 10th going into next week's power rankings, given their ranking records and how they fared against each other. Game 2 was between Oh My God and Anyone's Legend, 11th and 12th, 11th and 13th in my rankings, 1-0 going into the week, the games. Game 1 was all about Cream. Cream would come out and solo Forge immediately on his Akali. He would then continue to fight with his team against Anyone's Legends. They had a fight in mid that went 2-2. At 10 minutes, Cream was 2-1-1 and carrying the team. Anyone's Legend would take a Cloud Drake after that, and Anyone's Legend would actually go up 6-4, despite Cream being so dominant on Akali, because Betty was 2-0-2, putting his team up 1K because he was winning in the bot lane matchup. So it was like Cream versus Betty in game 1. Cream would solo Forge again at 17 minutes, pretty much rendering the Silas. I mean, there's the only time I've seen Silas by this point in any of the regions, and Silas did not look good against Akali in this matchup. They had a fight at 18 minutes that went 3-3 for Rift Herald. ZDZ had a double kill. I mean, that was the only time ZDZ showed up in this game. Oh My God would take the Mountain Drake after that, and the game now was tied 9-9, and Cream was 5-1-2 at 20 minutes. So Betty had a few kills for Anyone's Legend, but Cream continued to get these solo kills and influence fights in a big way. He wasn't finished there. At 24 minutes, Oh My God would take the Chemtech Drake, where Cream had a triple kill as part of the ace. Oh My God would then take the Baron, go up 7k gold. They would win a fight 4-1 in mid. Cream and Sanjay had a double kill. OMG would then just go to Soul Point for the Chemtech and end the game through mid, 23-11. But you'll notice that I don't have Cream as the MVP because Abel didn't screw up in this game at all, really, for me to notice, hey, he had some troubles. Whereas there was moments in this game where Cream got caught out and Abel was very, very dominant in this game on the Jinx, similar to how Cream was on the Akali. Anyone's Legend would go up in this game like they did in the first one. They were up 4-1 at 8 minutes. ZDZ had a triple kill for them, and they'd be up 2k gold by 10 minutes. However, Oh My God would then take a Drake at 10 minutes, another Drake after 15 minutes, despite Anyone's Legend still being up 6-4. Zhao Hao was 2-1-2, making a difference for Anyone's Legends, making things happen on the Viego. So Oh My God would take the Chemtech Drake. Oh My God would be up 2-1 at 18 minutes, win a team fight 2-1 at 18 minutes. And Anyone's Legend now was only up 7-6 at 20 minutes. Abel was 3-1-0 for Oh My God. Anyone's Legends would win the next team fight in top 4-0 at 21 minutes, really taking a stranglehold on the even mid-game of this second stanza in this series. They would take the Infernal off of that. However, Oh My God would steal the Baron, which was the biggest deal here. That probably is the reason why they come out on top in this series without being able to stall the game and stop the momentum. I mean, it was going to be over. The power play limited the deficit in gold. Anyone's Legend still was up 13-6 at 26 minutes. Forge was 3-2-8. They would then take the Infernal 3-3. Betty and Abel both exchanged double kills as the carries for their teams. Betty would steal the Baron once again. He would steal the Baron at 32 minutes, which allowed Anyone's Legends to go to Soul Point. But that was pretty much all she wrote for Anyone's Legends. Oh My God would win the next fight 3-1 in mid. Sanji with the double kill. They would win another fight, again at 36 minutes. At 37 minutes, when it was all said and done, at 37 minutes it wasn't all done, but as a note, the game was pretty much tied. Anyone's Legends was up 22-20. Their carry Forge was 6-3-13. Abel was 10-2-16. 6. So he had 16 of 20. He had 80% kill participation. Forge was 19 of 22. I can't do 19 out of 22 as a fraction or a percentage in my head, but it's a pretty damn good kill participation for a mid laner. At 38 minutes, Oh My God would go for the end as Anyone's Legends was trying to take Infernal Soul, in which case Abel had a quadra kill in the base to win as they were trying to end and take inhibitors. That's why Abel was the MVP in the end. I mean, once he had his jinx going, it was unstoppable. And I think this steal here was very, very important for them. Without stealing that Baron in the first 25 minutes of the game, they probably lose. Nevertheless, they come out on top 2-0 and are 2-0 on the season now. And then the third game of today was between RNG and JDG, the crown jewel of the day. Was a 3-game series. As you can see here, I have 3 games. I mean, I know you can't really read it because of many different reasons. Nevertheless, the notes are for me. 6 minutes, started out slow. RNG took the ocean, would win the team fight 2-1. Gala with a double kill. In 9 minutes, Wei would then make things happen, soloing Kanavi to get an advantage, to be able to get Rift Herald at 9 minutes, to start snowballing a lead in gold with the Rift Herald. By 10 minutes, they were already up 2.5k gold in 6-2 score. Wei was 3-0-3. Wei is the MVP of this series in my mind. He made a big difference. His early game in games 1 and game 3 were massive to their success. He would then take the Hextech Drake. Like I said, he was all over the place. He was making things happen in terms of kills and assists, but he also was ensuring that his team was getting objectives. By 15 minutes, it was 8-2 and a 5k gold lead. RNG would then be at Cloud Soul Point before 20 minutes. And then it was 9-3 at 20 minutes, where Wei was 4-0-3. And Kanavi was the carry for JDG. He had all 3 kills for them. It was a jungler versus jungler matchup in the Jarvan Lee Sin matchup, which we will see often throughout this current patch. I mean, that's the meta right now. Those two in Xin Zhao. So 22 minutes. RNG take the Cloud Soul at 23 minutes. 28 minutes, RNG take the Elder, and then they take the Baron and end the game. I mean, I don't go over much here about fights for these because really JDG kind of rolled over in this game. It was only 14-4, and in the later parts of the game, they were not fighting too hard for these objectives. And in the end, it's why they lost. I mean, they didn't try and stop it. They didn't try and stave the bleeding and make a difference. So in that game, they just kind of threw and said, forget it. Game 2, once again, J4 and Lee Sin in the jungle. We have a gank mid at 4 minutes. JDG would take the first Drake, the Ocean Drake. Even though they lost a team fight 3-0 afterwards at 6 minutes, Wei would have a double kill. Like I said, Wei was making a difference in all 3 games in this series, even in this second game in which JDG would win. At 10 minutes, it was 3-3, and RNG was up slightly in gold. JDG would then take the Ocean afterwards, despite RNG starting to get kills, and at 15 minutes, RNG were up 7-4, with Gala 3-0-3, because Gala was picking off players in these little skirmishes. I mean, it was kind of interesting to watch because it would be these fights would kind of be like just 1-1 or 2-1, and Gala was just picking up little kills here and there and picking up gold. At 16 minutes, RNG won a team fight for Rift Herald. I mean, JDG did 2-1. RNG would respond by taking the Chemtech Drake, and at 20 minutes, RNG won a team fight 3-0. Gala had a double kill for another Drake. 25 minutes, JDG would win a Baron fight 3-1. It was even in gold afterwards. It put everything on even footing. And that's how JDG would go to Soul Point afterwards. By JDG going to Soul Point because they had gotten the Ocean, and the Hextech. Now they were at 3 Drakes. RNG were at 2. It was 12-12 at 30 minutes. Gala was 7-1-4, and Kanavi was carrying JDG 6-1-4. 30 minutes, Kanavi would steal the Baron, and if they had won Game 3, I mean, Kanavi would have been the MVP, because in Game 1, he was the hard carry, the only one getting kills. In Game 2, he stole the Baron to win them the game. They were able to win off of that Baron, winning 4-0 in a final push to end with the power play. LPC had a triple kill on, I believe it was Ziggs in that fight. So, Kanavi was really the only one that was noticeable for JDG in these games, which was unfortunate because, I mean, they have very good players, and only one was really showing up in these games. The deciding game, Game 3, would go 29 minutes. It was kind of like Game 1. I mean, not only in who won, but in just how it was played. JDG would take the opening Drake as both teams kind of played patiently because the game was, I mean, the deciding factor, the deciding one for the series. JDG, however, would, after taking that Drake, fail a bot dive that resulted in RNG going up 2-0 and then slowly started snowballing in the bot lane to be able to get an advantage. They were 1.5k gold up by 10 minutes. RNG would then dive bot 3-0 and win that fight 3-1 at 11 minutes shortly after. And RNG would then turn that into a mountain, focusing on objective control in the bottom half of the rift. By 15 minutes, Wei was 3-0-3 again, and the team had a 3k gold lead. RNG would take the Hex Tech. Now they're up 2-1 in Drakes. They would respond by also winning a team fight afterwards. Gala having a double kill and getting the soul point, and then after that getting to the Hex Tech soul by 28 minutes. Similar to how I referenced there being a lot of brown lines over here, there are a lot of blue lines over here because JDG really didn't have an answer. Oh, and even here. In the latter stages of the game, JDG seems to not really understand how to get back in these games right now. And it's going to cause them some problems. I mean, it's early in the split, so they have a chance to figure it out. But as of right now, they have no comeback in their game against RNG in Game 1 and Game 3. They had no comeback capable. And I think, stealing a Baron cannot be the only way you can come back in a game, especially when the gold lead was only 3k by that point. 28 minutes, RNG would take the soul 2-2. Gala had a double kill. Then RNG would just take the Baron and end with Wei with a double kill. I mean, like I said, the score was 14-7. It wasn't that big of a kill score game, yet he was able to dominate in... Wei was able to dominate this game. I mean, in the early game, he established control. He ganked when he had to. Unlike Shadow here, where he was ganking but not doing what he was supposed to do in terms of getting objectives, Wei was doing it all. And I mean, it resulted in an Elder, and it resulted in a soul, a Hextech soul. And I mean, that was why they won the game. So now I'm going to change boards, and we're going to go over the LCK games from this morning. All right, we're back with my LCK video, second half of this video today. First game, we had Gen G making their 2022 debut against DRX. Gen G is my number one team coming into the year for the LCK, and they did not disappoint. As you can see, 17-2 and 23-8. They smoked DRX in this series. It was not even close. Game 1, Gen G would get out to an early lead in the bot 2v2. Lehens would get a kill. Deft would then be up 25 CS. Despite this, for DRX, which kind of is why I said in my preseason power rankings, DRX is going to live and die by the bot lane. But when you're against Ruler and Lehens, you are not going to succeed. That's a even footing matchup, and that allows Gen G to just win in every other role. By 10 minutes, the game was tied again. Gen G would take an Infernal. By 15 minutes, they were only up 3-0. It was a slow LCK-style game. But Gen G were taking objectives. They would take the mountain at 17 minutes and win that fight 4-1. Peanut with a triple kill. 20 minutes, Gen G were up 6-1 by this point. Peanut was 4-0-1 and had a 3.5 gold lead, 3.5k gold lead for the Gen G squad. They were up 6k by 25 minutes, just slowly inching ahead. They'd get to Ocean Soul Point before 25 minutes. DRX not even really stopping them. 25 minutes, Gen G would take the Baron 4-0. Ruler had a double kill. And after that, they really executed Gen G. I mean, with Chovy and Ruler and Doran. Like, they have all the pieces together to take a team and say, hey, we have the power play. We're already ahead. Let's just end it. And they brought that power play to a 10k gold lead. Gen G would end the game winning an ace 5-1. Ruler with a double kill. Final score 17-2. This was, DRX had no chance in this series. Game 2, DRX would gank mid for the first blood, trying to take out Chovy from this game. Genji would then respond by diving bot. Genji would then get a 2v2 kill in bot, Ruler outplaying Deft again. Chovy would then solo kill Deft before 10 minutes, and by 10 minutes, Genji was up 6-2. Game was, pretty much over. Peanut and Ruler were both 2-0-2, and Genji had a 3K gold lead. Genji didn't even have a 3K gold lead until 20 minutes in this game, but they were really motoring in this one. Genji would then take the Chemtex Drake. DRX would respond. Despite losing their fight 3-2 and Joran getting a double kill, they did take the Infernal. By 20 minutes, Genji was up 11-6, and Doran was the key carry at 4-0-2 with a monster gold lead for the team. They would then take the Baron right at that moment at 20 minutes, pretty much on spawn. Win the fight 4-1, Chovy with a triple kill, and by that point, once again, they executed on their power play, showcasing why I believe Genji may be the best team in the world right now. It's only been one game, but they were first in the LCK, and the team that's first in the LCK is definitely a world championship contender when the season begins, regardless, in my opinion. And they are a top 3 team in the world, and that's not even, without even much thought. Genji would take the Hex Tech after that. They were up 14,000 gold by 23 minutes. They would finally end Peanut with a triple kill. I made Peanut MVP of this series. He was executing on ensuring that the team had objectives in Game 1, and in Game 2, he did it again, playing a big role in the early game, responding to the ganks made by DRX and Pyosik. And that was a big deal. This was a blowout, like I said, 40-10. Peanut and squad really, really beat up DRX. It was between T1 and Fred Brian. Fred and Brian were making their 2022 debut, similar to Genji. This game would go 3 series. This series would go 3 games. T1 had some troubles in this series. Game 3, they really, really took it to them, but in the first game, they really had troubles. Fred would come out on top immediately, setting the tone, making plays in multiple areas in the early game. By 10 minutes, it was 2-2, and T1 was up 1.5k gold, though, which kind of was the story of this series, was that T1 were much better than Brian in terms of wave management, ensuring that they were getting ahead in gold and items and things of that nature, turret plates, despite Brian, pushing the pace in terms of jungle pressure and ganking. 12 minutes, they would win a team fight 2-1. They would take the cloud off of that, Brian that is. And at 15 minutes, Brian was up 4-3, and it was a Henna versus Zeus sort of series game that was brewing. Both of them had big leads in their matchups. Brian would then take the Ocean and win that fight 2-1 at 18 minutes. And then by 20 minutes, Henna was 3-1-3, despite T1 being up in gold still, like I said. Brian was up 7-4 in kills. Zeus would then solo kill Morgan at 21 minutes, kind of showing that how Zeus was clearly the carry for T1 in Game 1. 24 minutes, T1 would take the Hex Tech. Gumayushi with multiple kills in that fight. Brian would then win the next fight 4-0 to get a Baron, which eliminated the gold deficit that T1 had built over the game despite Brian being so aggressive. Brian would then go to Hextech Soul Point, and at 33 minutes, they were up 13-10, and Henna was 5-2-6, and Fredda had a 2k gold lead. 35 minutes, they would take the Hextech Soul as T1 took Baron, but that didn't make a difference. The Baron wasn't enough. The Hextech Soul overpowered it. Brian would win the final fight 3-1. Lava would have a double kill and end the game. They used a Camille Gallio composition, which no one had been running, I believe, yet this year. It's a very simple composition. I remember CLG running it a lot last year to get some cheese wins. It's an easy to execute composition where if you're over aggressive, you will lose, and T1 paid the price in this game. Game 2, they were more prepared. Brian would come out on top and take an ocean in the early game. This was a slow early game because that was the first notable thing that would happen in this game. T1 would botch a dive after that where UMT would get a double kill as the jungler for Brian. T1 would then take the Hextech Drake, and we're up 2k gold at 10 minutes, just like I said about Game 1. Despite being down in kills, T1 were out creep scoring and out farming Brian this whole entire series. UMT would then was just doing it all. UMT was doing it all for his team, for Fred Brian, by 15 minutes. By 17 minutes, T1 would take a mountain and win that fight 2-1. And by 20 minutes, now the score is 6-4, and T1 is still up in gold. Like I said, it's just the story of this game. They would alternate Drakes and Barons after that without much fighting going on. Brian would get to... They would just exchange mountains. I mean, T1 were at Soul Point by 28 minutes. Brian would then respond and go to Soul Point at 33 minutes, despite UMT stealing their Baron. UMT would steal the T1 Baron at 29 minutes. T1 won the fight after Brian would go to Soul Point. Zeus had a double kill, which allowed them to keep the game tied, because at 35 minutes, the game was tied. It was 11-11. Both teams at Soul Point, and I mean, it was anyone's game. 36 minutes, Henna would steal the Baron for the second time in this game. T1 had their Baron stolen. I can't imagine that their jungler was getting a lot of love after the game, and he ensured he didn't screw up in this one after, getting outsmited twice. Well, not even outsmited. He just lost 2 Barons. T1 would then take the Soul, and after that would take a Baron, take an Elder, end the game. They just ended the game. I mean, the score was 21-13. It was just kind of small little fights where no one really had multiple kills in any fight. Really, I mean, maybe 2 kills here or there. Gumayushi was a big player in this last bit of the game here on Aphelios. Dealing some big damage. Game 3, the deciding game. Gumayushi ends up being the MVP of this series. I get into that in this one. Because really, I mean, what does it matter what you did in the first 2 games? It's the third game that if you play like crap, no one remembers how you did in the first 2 games. T1 would gank bot to start the game, but Brian would also respond. So at 2-1, it was 2-1 at 5 minutes. There was multiple things happening all around the rift. Brian would take the Chemtech Drake, and T1 were up 3-2 in this game, and 1k gold at 15 minutes. T1 would then take an Infernal and win that fight 3-1. Gumayushi, like I said, carried this game. He was the key carry by 20 minutes. It was 2-0-1, and he was the one with the most of the 2k gold lead for T1. They would then take an Ocean, expand their gold lead. Faker would have multiple double kills on Vex in the mid-game, ensuring that the team was able to get these Drakes and eventually get to Soul. Like I said, he had 2 double kills. 33 minutes, they would take the Baron and win the fight 3-1. Gumayushi had a double kill in that fight. And they would push the gold lead to 9k and take the Ocean Soul during this Baron. And Fred and Brian just had nothing for them. I mean, they really, like I said, the score of this game was 18-4. Fred and Brian, I think, kind of just gave what they could in the first 2 games. And game 3, they had nothing left. 40 minutes, T1 would take the Baron, then they would take the Elder and end the game. Ace to end. Gumayushi was the MVP. So, this, I kind of... Gen G showed they are the best team in the LCK. I was a little disappointed on what T1 offered in this game because, I mean, I thought that they would kind of blow out Fred and Brian, but they didn't. So, that's unfortunate. Thank you for watching this video. I do cover the LPL and LCK every morning, their games. This is a tough weekend because they're playing so many games, but I will be doing it, and I will have my LEC LCS video out a little later tonight. I mean, I was hoping I'd get this video out earlier, but it was very difficult. I had things out of my control, that I wish I didn't have in my way. So thank you for watching. Like and subscribe if you like the content. Constructive criticism is good criticism. And I hope you come back later for my LEC LCS videos, as well as my daily LPL and LCK videos. Thank you for watching.